Speaking of big mind and incredible talent, Sanjib Sahoo is Executive Vice President and Chief Digital Officer for Ingram Micro. In his role, Sanjib leads Ingram Micro strategic efforts to further accelerate the development of innovation, world-class customer and user experience designed to shape and create competitive advantage and differentiation for the business. Sanjeev's responsibilities include leading the digital transformation and modernization of the company's customer-facing platforms, including applications, subscription services, consumption models for billing. Sanjeev has authored numerous technology models and white papers on risk and innovation leadership, leadership development, innovation marketing, open source architecture, mobile strategies, and he holds several patents on dynamic communications and streaming for mobile devices. Sanjib is a member of the Forbes Technology Council and a contributor to Wired and Harvard Business Review. He's an excellent follow on Twitter at SAHOOSANJ. Welcome, Sanjib, to Disrupt TV.
Thank you, Vala.
Great having you.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, we're really excited to have you. You are one of our BT 150 Hall of Famers, and that means a lot. These are folks that have done some amazing transformation. And I'm going to start with a question that's kind of not necessarily a trick question, but it's a big question. What does digital transformation mean to you? And here's why. I mean, and from your stats and your team stats, Ingram Micro touches 80% of all technology in the world. So when you say digital transformation, what do you mean?
Yeah, thank you, Ray. I think that's an interesting question. I think digital transformation means a lot of things to a lot of people. And I feel that digital transformation, it's not about technology. It's not only about technology. I think the first thing is it's about a mindset and a spirit. It's about starting with a business problem or a business opportunity and figuring out a way that how you can solve it. Now, either a better customer experience, either a better way to change your business model, making sure a company or an organization is prepared for different routes to market. So what means is that unlike a start and end of a transformation, like an agile or a process, it has to be the DNA of the organization. It never stops. It's a journey and a spirit, which means that you are always trying to make improvements every single day, not like we are doing a transformation for a year or two, it doesn't work, which means that the way you look at your technology, the way we look at your platform, the way you look at your customers, the way you look at employees, tie them all together through a spirit process communication to drive proper value. And one of the other thing, Ray, in my mind is a lot of the times we figure out that we are stuck into a tool or a platform about digital, but it's not about that. It's about what is the value that you create out of that technology. So one part is value creation and one part is value capture. Unless you are capturing value, which is actual tangible dollars in EBITDA, margin, revenue, it's kind of pointless, which brings to my point that, as an example, a lot of people talk about AI, machine learning, cloud. Just going to cloud is not digital transformation. Yeah, maybe a little bit. Let's say we take the data on the cloud, use artificial intelligence to figure out how we can understand the behaviors of our customers, what are predicting what they would buy, and give it at their hands at the time of purchase. That is a new way of generating demand. In my mind, that is transformation. So we have to every single day think about using the technology, using the processes, using data. How do we figure out a better business model transformation? In my mind, that is digital transformation.
What a great answer. What a great answer. And you're right, Ray. It's a big question. There's a lot of dimensions to it. And Sanjib touched upon, culture and people and process and technology, that spirit of changing yourself, as Whitney said, so you can position your company to create value at the speed of need. Sanjib talked about at that moment of truth, can you deliver value that results in dollars and profit and EBITDA? So at the end of the day, businesses exist to make money. But it's not about just shareholders. We're talking about stakeholder capitalism. So I love that spirit, the word spirit in the answer. That's the first time I've ever heard someone describe digital transformation in the context of a spirit. But so how does this journey of digitizing a company begin? Sanjeev, when you recruit talent into your organization, when you're trying to change the spirit of, or enhance, not change, enhance the spirit of Ingram Micro, where do you start? How do you build advocacy and champions and people that are passionate about creating value at the speed of need?
Yeah, that's a great question, Vala. I think it is all about breaking the silos and communication. I think
Hmm.
empathy goes a big way in digital transformation. And
Hmm.
I was talking about a few days ago that in our need to automate, we forget the most important aspect of digital is humans. Our customers are humans, our employees are humans, our partners are humans, and how technology is adopted by humans and understanding their pain points is a big part of success of digital. We can build the best technology in the world, the best mobile app, the best AI algorithm, but if it does not, it's not getting adopted, it's not going to be useful. So the number one thing, Vala, we start with focusing on why, rallying people from the business operations technology, figure out why, which means that sometimes I have this 5 why rule. Okay, we want to serve these customers this way. Why? Why? We have to break by 5 why. So
Yeah.
rallying people around why is the first thing. Second thing is asking the questions about what. Let's say we look at all aspects of our organization, from customers to our internal operations, and figure out what are the pain points, what and perspective, what does it work, what doesn't work. So that's the what part about how we actually working out. And it's actually interesting thing, Vala, in this is I always talk about communicate with compassion and execute with passion. As we
Wow.
want to be really successful in digital, the way we communicate about not pushing a technology on our operations, but understand what is the pain point. It takes so much time to actually update an application, understand the problem, and then figure out how we can solve them. That approach goes a long, long way. So then is the what part. Design thinking helps a lot in bringing us together. Like we do a lot of design thinking.
Hmm.
Just go to the whiteboard, storyboard in bringing talent together all across the company. So I call it why, what, and then how, and I add it with the end it with a wow. So you can do why, what, how to build it, and then the experience has to be wow. I mean, amazing experience. So in our organization, in any digital transformation, we actually do a lot of this design thinking so that people get this mindset about it's a joint vision. It's not about IT or business or operations. We are all in this together, which means that as we are looking at talent and people bringing in, it's that mindset, the spirit, because digital has blurred between technology. Everybody is a full stack engineer, everybody is a product, so which means that the focus on solving problems, the focus on why is the most important aspect as we go with digitization.
It's amazing. You're a technologist, you're a former CIO, award-winning practitioner, but when I listen to you, you sound more like an artist. To you, it's the art of and science of understanding the why, the how, and the what, and of course, at the end, making sure you wow. But when you talk about design thinking and whiteboarding, to me, it feels like your craft is less about technology and more about people, which is what our first and second guests also emphasize. So I love hearing successful technology executives really thinking about the human part of the equation first before they jump into the cloud, the AI, the blockchain, and all the other technologies that enable some of the wow capabilities. But you don't lead with that. You lead with how can I delight my stakeholders? I love that. You're an artist, my friend. You're an artist.
Thank you, Wala.
Yeah, so that's part of it, right? I mean, leading technical expertise, leadership skills, it's important. Really comes down to how do you inspire digital innovation and transformation in a company culture? And keep in mind, like, you're a 49, $50 billion company. I mean, this is not a small entity at all. I mean, you are the largest wholesale technology provider in the world. I mean, among many other things. And that's pretty powerful. So how do you do that? And what do you do to get people fired up?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there are few 3 or 4 things I think Ray is very important. And Ingram has an incredible culture, right? The best thing about Ingram is that when I came to the company 6 months ago, everybody wants to move, everybody wants to change. We want to serve our customers better. But the first thing I talked about, Vala, is, and you're right, I am a technologist at heart. I love technology. But over the years, I have realized that technology without value creation is pointless because, as I mentioned before, we can build the best technology in the world, but if we cannot really use it to our users and create value, it's really not useful. So the first thing is rallying the whole organization around a vision. So basically, what is our digital vision? It's not like building another digital platform. It's about how do we go from becoming a channel only, which is today, to become a demand driven customer experience. How can we become a platform? How do we serve our customers to a platform? How do we build that single pane of glass for our customers to create that true experience for a massive complex organization? We operate in like all over the world, 160 countries. We operate in 59 countries. So massive operations. How do we create that experience for our customers? How do we create that experience for our partners and our vendors to be better? So taking that spirit and rallying all across the organization with the spirit and design thinking, it is communication. And Vala, one of the things that we as technologists miss out is communication is very important in a technology world to actually get that compassion, get that adoption. So number one is that rallying the spirit and communication. Number two, it has to be a proper planning. It is not just planning for how do we roll out technology. It is a balance between value creation and value capture. And how do we actually, let's say we want to go build an e-commerce model or e-commerce platform, or how do we make sure which segment of customers you're going to attract first? How do you make sure your profitability is actually measured better? How do you make sure that as you are doing the supply side, your profitability per SKU, the solutions is better? How do we, so basically creating a very, very balanced execution plan is extremely important, because without that plan, it's going to be just a technology delivery plan, not an actual operation plan. So that's the second part, what we are working on right now to create that plan. We actually have our digital transformation has three pillars. We call it data, engines, and experience. So global data, we are working on a lot of harmonization of global data, bringing the data together.
Sure.
It boils down to the engines, which are autonomous business logic, which are chained together through API ecosystem on the cloud and microservices, so that it gives us the infinite routes to the market and chain them as we want, and then create a frictionless customer experience on the top. So we have planned how we are actually building this. So once we actually do these two, the third thing is, while you pointed out the architecture of the technology. Today we have cloud, we have data clouds, we have technology where we can actually do real-time change data capture on the cloud from the ERPs.
Wow.
We have machine learning and AI factories that can take data real time, process it, understand patterns of our customers. How can we take all of this and build that intelligence? Imagine we have 42 years of data as Ingram Micro are selling technology, 42 years. If we can take that data fabric and create that real-time data, do that. Second is, we are working this on cloud such a way that we can pivot as the market pivots, so going to our customers, going to the customer needs, giving our resellers and the VARs the technology to actually pivot to the customers. So that's the third part, that whole API, microservices, AI, cloud, do that. And the fourth is very, very important, as I talked about, is how do we make sure that we consistently demonstrate value? How much of EBITDA, margin, revenue is generated by this? It's not another tool or platform. Is it my core business? That's when you difference between a digital transformation and a business model transformation, because digital transformation is creating digital assets. But a business model transformation tied together is actually changing our business. That's where most of those transformations fail. My 2 cents is we have to link them together from the start, not at the end.
It's fantastic to hear you talk about the different pillars of success. At one instance, I feel like I'm listening to a CIO. In another instance, I feel like I'm listening to a CMO, chief marketing, because you're talking about demand generation and value at the speed of need and creating greater awareness. So as a CDO, do you feel that you have one foot in marketing, one foot in IT, and you're trying to harmonize and act as a bridge between the two functions? Because again, you're speaking, and I'm learning from, it feels like multiple lines of business as you shared your stack of key success factors?
Yeah, so Vala, personally for me, I over the last few years, I have taken a lot of interest in actually business, P&L, operations, as well as technology. So I think that it's two sides of the coin. So
Yeah.
if you look at the CDO role today at Ingram, it's not only just building digital technology or building digital platforms. We actually do the whole digital transformation office and the business transformation, where you bring them together to
Love
actually
that.
showcase how you are servicing your customers better. Let's say today, if we put more business through our digital platform, what is the incremental EBITDA can we generate, provided we still delight our customers, delight our internal operations? So the hat that I wear right now and we would like to wear is, one without the other is not going to work. That's my philosophy right now. I realize that
Yeah.
just if you have the technology, it takes a lot of time to actually get buy-in agreement. But if you start with the both sides of the coin together. So
Yeah.
I call it, the whole CXO is blurring right now. It's not CIO, CTO, CMO.
Yeah.
It's about, I call it CVO, Chief Value Officer. We need to
Yeah.
create value. And if we focus on the value, then everything else blurs, because every organization wants to focus on the value right now. So that's where we and good thing about Ingram is that we don't really care about who is where. It's a very collaborative culture, and really we all work together with one thing in mind: how do we serve our customers better? And we are moving at incredible speed, and it's not possible whether the employees and the customers and the internal operations not all come together to sell this.
My experience tells me, regardless of your title, you have to always understand the language of business is finance. So you need to map your projects and your goals and your initiatives and your spirit of growth to financial outcomes that show tangible value creation. Go ahead, Ray. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that definitely is a great point, right? I mean, Sanjib, I think a lot of people probably asking you, like, where do they start, right? The role of the chief digital officer is new. Lots of people are looking for advice as to, what things they should think about. And we only got a few more minutes. And what I really want to know is what leaders, who are suddenly being asked to do digital transformation. I mean, every CXO has now been enabled for value and is now a digital leader. The question is, what do they have to do? What have they do to get ready? I mean, you've got like a general, you've got stuff from Harvard Business School. You've got backgrounds from MIT and AI, right? You've got tech and business. You've built, operations for like E-Trade and some of the biggest companies. But what skill sets, what are important now in making someone successful?
I think I will break it down to very few simple things, irrespective of the degrees and experiences. As a technologist, first focus on why, like why the technology is used, and get a lot of business acumen. I think understanding the P&L of the company, understanding the revenue, understanding customer segmentation, really spending time with the operations of an organization is very, very important. Because if you do not do that, if you do not spend the time, then you cannot build the right technology. So that's very important. Number two, I would say, is that also focus on the kind of talent that you hire. Like, see, I used to use 3 quotients to hire talent, because I cannot do everything.
Are you
myself.
hiring right now?
Yeah, I'm hiring right now. We are hiring a lot. So if you know anybody who is talented and wants to be part of digital transformation, send them my way.
With the proper spirit. With the proper
spirit. We'll send you a few people.
Yeah. But I think when you look at the talent, I used to call it like CQ, EQ, and IQ, 3 quotient. CQ is competency quotient, means they should really know what they're good at. If you are a programmer, you should be stellar at the programming. That's CQ. But EQ is how you can work with people. It talks about the mindset and the spirit, focusing on what can you actually do that. But the IQ is not traditional IQ. Today, what digital transformation is done is it actually changed to be more about, can you connect the dots? Can you connect how you are servicing your customer experience with the cloud, technology I'm writing, the AI algorithm I'm writing? How will it impact my basis points in my pricing? So that IQ means focusing on why and connecting the dots. That's extremely important. So make sure that you hire talent accordingly. And number 3 is always ask questions to the business. So it's not about a business degree. You don't have to always go to Harvard, but you can actually get the knowledge being in operations day to day. Because if you can solve the pain points of the operations and the frontline managers, you would be driving a successful strategy, not digital, but business, but a value strategy. And that's what advice I'll give you.
Chief Value Officer. I love it. I love
We've
it.
learned so much new today. We've got Sanjib Sahoo, EVP and Chief Digital Officer at Ingram Micro, BT150 Hall of Famer. You can follow him on Twitter at Sahoo, SANJ. And more importantly, thank you so much for being on the show. And of course, being here with us this Friday, sharing your insights.
Thank you, sir. You were terrific. Wow. We learned a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.